I wanted to see a very big company, and I wanted to see a public company.
Why?
Because I believed that at some point in my career, I would be taking a company, whether it would be my company from the ground up or a company that I would be hired to manage, to that unprecedented scale. And I wanted to experience it from the inside. And so I talked to a few companies, and I was approached by the Priceline Group, which is now called Booking Holding, which owns Booking.com, Priceline.com, obviously, thanks to William Shatner. Everybody knows Priceline. OpenTable, Kayak, rental cars, Agoda, and I can't remember a few others. At the time, they were already, I think, a $70 billion market cap company. And I was approached to basically run the operations of the group. And it sounded like a super interesting experience. I had a ton of respect for the chairman of the board, Jeff Boyd. I've never seen someone run a public company board as efficiently as Jeff.
What does he do that makes it so unbelievable?
Besides being very smart, but he had this uncanny ability to have this great relationship with the CEO, obviously, but also with every board member, while at the same time being very directive in the way the board was supposed to function. And he seems to intuitively always understand that balance of being friendly and being demanding, being open and being directive, encouraging people to participate into an open debate, and yet close the debate when, okay, that's fine. We've been around the block a few times. We're good. Let's move on.
It's a huge job and an opportunity to learn from some of the best. And also, you had only been an entrepreneur and a consultant and an intrapreneur in many ways, right? It feels like a very big shift to go into run operations for a company that big.
Yes.
How was that?
It was very exciting. I like that suddenly everything had 2 or 0. Like you would go into the room and they would be talking about Booking.com Google advertising budget, and suddenly we were talking about a few $1 billion of budget. I was like, what? Like what are you talking about? And at the time, Booking was the largest advertiser with Google, period. It was so important. That relationship was so important that there is a certain number of things that the Google ad team built. They built it based on Booking.com feedback. So that's how important that relationship was to both companies. It was just a completely different scale. And so I had seen the 0 to 1 because I had built 3 business of my own. I had seen you went to 1, now let's take it to 100, which was Ozone. When I joined, we had a little less than $100 million of revenue. When I left, we had a little over $1 billion. And now I was seeing like what it would look like when you were generating billions of dollars of cash and having a 70, 80, I think now they are $100 billion market cap.
And for a lot of entrepreneurs, that transition would be intellectually really exciting and, emotionally and spiritually maybe really difficult because you go from, to your point, when you're an entrepreneur, you're wearing every hat. You're doing everything. If the trash needs taking out, you're taking out the trash, right? You're in Russia. You've got to figure out delivery to Vladivostok. Okay, and you drill in on that. You've got a team, and Tiger team probably working on that. You beta test something, and that didn't work. So I'm going to try this other thing, and you get there. When you're operating at that scale, where you've got billions being spent on Google in a year, right? You can't operate in that. Most companies, at least. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you found a way. How was that for you, operating at that scale and not being able necessarily to move with the same kind of alacrity that you had to move in your prior jobs?
That's what I liked so much about Priceline Group / Booking Holdings, which was they were big and yet they had kept this entrepreneurial spirit. One of the things that was very, very special within the Priceline Group was that most of the brand were still being run by the founder / the original team. So Steve Hafner was still at Kayak. and he was still going around and making his interesting jokes on stage, but also running the business from the inside. And at Agoda, you had also the founder was there, and at Booking, the original founder wasn't there, but the CEO was part of the original team, and the group had figured out a way to create commonality and a camaraderie spirit, and yet keep them independent. So the founder would still feel like that was their business and they were still running it. And so in hindsight, I think the reason why I enjoyed my time there so much was because it wasn't like a big, heavy, bureaucratic corporation. It was still a company made of entrepreneurs who were figuring out new stuff every day on big thing and small things. And so it felt very, very entrepreneurial.